Hi guys, Sean from PMP Campers. Just going to be doing your handover video on your auto homes. So if we start under the bonnet, on the left hand side here, this is your engine battery. Above that here we've got the brake fluid attached to the servo down the back. Power steering fluid, or oil for your power steering fluid, goes in this reservoir here. Your engine oil, checking it and topping it up is from this same part here. So if you pull this up, obviously you've got the dipstick there, but if you unscrew this top, you'd end up being able to, you get to the where you actually fill your engine oil up from there. Alright, so screw that back down. Obviously it's had a full service, so you shouldn't need to do any of that, but that's where it is if you need to. The engine coolant is in this reservoir here, exactly where it needs to be. Air filter under here, and then your washer fluid sits in this bottle over here. So like I said, it's had a full service, so you shouldn't need to touch any of that, but if you did need to, that's where it all is. And obviously if you ever needed a jump start or anything like that, it's this battery rather than the one at the back, which I'll show you in a minute. So if we go onto the passenger side now, so near side, this is how you get to your fuel. So literally just push in on the left hand side, and by the way, this hasn't been cleaned yet on the outside, so this will all be clean, just so you know. So the actual cap here is just literally using the ignition key on that one, which I've managed to, oh no, I have got it on me. So it'll be this key to get into the fuel cap there, 90 degrees, and then pull it out, and that's it. All right, pop that away like that. On the passenger side, there's not really much to show you, if I'm honest. I mean, you've got an electric window, which is nice. They don't all have those. You can lock up this little glove box here as well. Again, that'd be with the ignition key. And then you've got your on and off switch for the vent there, the heater duct. Your radio works as it should, and you've got sort of where you choose the air to go, the heat and the fan setting there, which you can adjust from here, and obviously your cigarette lighter 12 volt socket in there as well. I will show you around a few bits on the other side in a minute, but can't quite get over there from here. Bit tight for space in here, so sorry about that, but this is the obviously the habitation door, which is just simple. Literally pull it out like that to unlock it, close it up and pop. I'll just show you again which key that'll be. It'll be the circular top key, so it'll be this key here, and that will lock and unlock your door. The next two vents here, top and bottom, this is for your fridge, Electrolux fridge vents. So I've got the fridge on gas at the moment, so one way to sort of double, triple check that it's definitely running on gas. I mean, I'll show you on the inside in a minute where you can see it from, but if you pop your hand over the top here, lots of hot air coming out through that little hole in there, which is basically the little flue for your actual fridge. So got it on gas, you'll be able to feel hot air coming out through the top there. This one down here, this is an external 240 volt socket. So as long as you've got your hookup cable plugged in, this should work, as an external point if you ever needed one. I mean, it's a bit of an unusual extra to have, but at least it's there. And then finally, on the outside, we've got this, which is your boiler vent. So all you ever need to look at on this, again, you can sort of double check if you like that it's definitely running by popping your hand on top here like that. There's lots of hot air coming out through there, because again, that's just where the sort of exhaust is for your heater. But if you ever needed to drain your boiler out, then you need to undo this big flathead screw there very slowly, unless you get, otherwise you get covered in water. And once you've managed to slowly take that out, there's a smaller one up here, which you just turn in a little bit, and then it's basically an air pressure valve. So it will let the rest of the water come out from there. But that's where you empty out your boiler from the outside. That's about it. Let me just see if I've got nothing else on the near side, underneath. No. Okay, so go on to the driver's side now. Offside. If I show you on the just inside the door first, don't mind the hoover. I just don't like to get it dirty after it's been cleaned on the inside. So got a couple of things here. So this is your light adjustment. This isn't actually where you turn the lights on from, this one. That's next door here. So side lights, normal beam. And then if you had the lights on normal beam there, you can then choose over here whether you want the full beam on or off. But you can also flash like that. But you know, leave them like that for the most part. And then this is obviously your indicators further in. So just be careful when you're driving that you don't use the wrong lever. So indicator at the front, lights at the back, and then your washers and washer fluid on the right. That go all the way down and back up. So you can leave this off for the most part. Obviously, ignition key goes in here. You do need to, on these vans, you do need to wait for the little glow plug light to go out, which I'll just demonstrate. So I won't start the van up because it'd be a bit close for Nick next door cleaning, but you need to wait for that light to go out like it has now, and then it will start as it should. Okay, so yeah, on these vans, if you don't wait for that light to go out, it won't start. So you do definitely need to wait for that. 5-speed manual gearbox. Reverse is bottom right, so nice and easy to drive. Your hazard lights are right in the middle there. That's that white button. It was red at one point, but obviously it's faded over the years. But that's that button there. That's your hazards, and then obviously the horn just in the middle here. So the handbrake as well, just so you know, is on the right hand side. So just be careful when you're jumping out of here that you don't get caught on it. It does hurt. I've done it before. So yeah, just bear that in mind. So I'll close that door up. So what else have we got then? So we've got the toilet cassette, quite important. So in here, you've got the actual toilet cassette itself, which is here at the bottom. So if you push this little button down and then pull towards you, you'll be able to take this all the way out. That's supposed to be in there, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't make any difference it being out like that really. That's all been lubricated as part of the hab check, your seal there. So that's all as it should be, and it won't get stuck. When you're actually turning the flap inside, that's just turning this little lever here. All right. So that's that for there. All you need to do when you're actually emptying it out, turn this so it's straight, take this yellow cap off, and then if you see it in there, the yellow button, you need to hold that yellow button down when you're emptying these out. It's a pressure release valve again, just like on the boiler, but you'll find it's a much better to get it out smoothly. There's no nicer way to put it really, but so above that we've got your flush fluid as well. So if you wanted to top up your flush with the pink fluid, or well, a mix of the pink and water, then that's where you put that in there. So to actually drain that out, you need to take this little cap off here, which is literally hand tight, and also you've got a gauge here to tell you how much fluid you've got in the system, and it works on a U-bend. All right, so when you take this out from this little bit inside, and then you can pull down. And I'm not going to do it because obviously I don't want to drain it out, but if I tip this out downwards now, all of the flush fluid would slowly start to come out. All right, so to pop that back in, you just pop it in there first and then push in like that, and that's it. So that's exactly where you want it. You don't want it all the way to the top. If you just leave it around the middle, then you'll be perfectly fine. You've got probably about 2 or 3 litres I think in there, so that'll last you quite a while anyway. I've had to you know, drain it out and replace it on the hab check anyway, so that's all new and all good. Your water is above that here. If I just, I'm terrible with keys, if I just show you which key that'll be a small one, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be this one. So pop that in there, turn it whichever way it will go, and then it will literally just come out on its own like that. And then to pop it, obviously that's where you pop your fresh water in, and to pop it away, pop it back in, and then turn it back the other way, take it out, and that's totally locked up. You cannot take that out. All right, so it's as simple as that. And for the toilet, it'll be this key here. So make sure that you've got the little lever facing down like that. Pop the door in, close it up, and that's locked up as well. So next locker along, we've got the your leisure battery and your hookup point. And again, this will all be cleaned you know, by the time you come to pick the van up, so sorry that it's a bit messy at the moment, but just for showing you sake. So if you want to take this out and replace it at any point, you literally just need to undo this little lever, this little strap here, and then pull the battery out, pop the new one back in, and pop the old terminals back on. But on the hab check, that held its charge all the way through, and took charge from the hookup as well, so there's nothing wrong with that battery as it is. But you know, if you ever wanted to do that in the future, you can do there, nice and easy to get to as well. And then here, your hookup point. So you've got a little slot down the bottom of these little cupboards, so if you had a hookup plugged in, you could have the cable running out from here and still close the locker and lock it. So if you wanted to leave it hooked up for a long time, and you wanted to leave the van, then you can do that and actually lock this cupboard so no one can mess around with your hookup or your battery when you're not there. And then finally, you got your gas locker. So you've got two 6 kilo bottles in here. I think one of them is empty, but you need to have 2 attached really, because you've got a changeover up here. All right, so basically what that means is, if you've got green on these little diagrams here, then it means that there is gas and it's at pressure. And if it's red, it means there's no gas and there's no pressure. The little button here is pointing towards the left-hand bottle. So what that means is, the left-hand bottle is sort of powering the van at the moment, and the right-hand bottle isn't doing anything. If I pop this down to the middle, then basically that means that it would take gas from both bottles, and when one runs out, the other one would start to power it up. But really, you just want to leave it here. If you're going to be using the left-hand bottle or the right-hand bottle, just go left or right. It's you know, it doesn't really make much difference. You can just leave it on the left-hand side one, and just use it like a normal locker. That's what I would do personally. But yeah, on the hab check, I did have to. This is a new 2020 dated pigtail hose, and also the little bit of pipe down there is new as well. Had to be replaced because it was too old on the hab check. And actually the other one there is new as well, because that was too old. So yeah, it's all been sort of taken apart, re-lubricated, new parts fitted, so you've got a good sort of 4 years or so on before you have to replace any of these pipes. But to turn these on, you need to go anti-clockwise round to the left, and if you remember to go all the way on so it won't go anymore, when you come back to turning it off, it'll only go one way, so you can remember, you know, exactly which way to go. You can't get confused then. But that's it. I'm going to leave that on because I've got a few things on inside the van to show you. I don't want to get the van muddy when I step in it. So I just jump in now. I'll show you in the bathroom first, because sometimes I've got a bit of a tendency to forget somehow. So you've got a pretty normal hot and cold tap there. That is your shower as well, so if you pulled this actual tap out, it would hook in up there and obviously take your little bit of carpet out. But that's how you use your shower, nice and easy. And obviously you've got your hot and cold. As long as you've pulled the hot water through first to make sure there's no air in the system and that the boiler is full, you can do that on either one of the taps or both. I personally do both, just to make sure there's definitely no air at all in the system. So yeah, so as long as you've got the pump switch on at the control panel there, which I'll show you in a second, then you can pull your hot water through from both of your taps, just to make sure that your boiler is definitely full. And like I said, the only way to actually drain it out is from the plug on the front anyway, so you know, usually it would be, but just make sure there's no air in the system, and then you have hot and cold water once you've got your boiler on, which again I'll show you in a minute. So that's simple there. You've got a drain at the bottom and a plug next door, so I'll put that in there just so it doesn't get lost. Your actual toilet itself couldn't be any easier, and also couldn't be any more reliable, I don't think, because a lot of these toilets have got a pump inside to pump the flush fluid through, but yours is a manual one, so literally all you need to do is turn this like that, and that's pumping all your flush fluid through, and then you open it up like that, and that is it. That is as technical as the toilet is. And if I'm honest, every now and again with the toilets with the pumps in them, they do tend to pack up, and you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's awkward to get your hand in and replace them. So with this, I don't see it going wrong anytime soon, so that's good. And you've got a little gauge down here to tell you your fluid. All right, so again, nice and easy. When this shows you up red, it means that your waste tank there, your cassette toilet is full, so you know when to empty it out. But if I'm honest, you'll know anyway if you're in here using it. But that's it, that's the toilet. I'm pretty sure that's all I can show you in the bathroom. You've got a light here, so it doesn't look very bright, but at night, you know, that is plenty bright enough. So, and obviously they do get a little bit brighter as they go like that, see. So yeah, so that's your light for the bathroom. So up over the cab, you've got a light up in the corner there. That is just a window. I mean, you know, you can't open and close that one, I don't think. But you have got a skylight here as well, which you can open right up. To actually open them up, you just need to squeeze the handles and push up at the same. You can do it one at a time if you like, but it's easier just at the same time. So that's how you do that. And then the bed, literally just slide it all the way forwards and then pop this top part down the back, and then that's your bed made up. You've got your ladder and your awning winder there. The awning, I can't really show you on a video because you know, one, I haven't got space, and two, I can't do it without another hand. But all you need to do is pop this end of the awning winder into the top of the awning, which you'll see a little slot for. Wind it all the way out, and then you've got two little legs inside there which you can pull out and drop down, and they will lock into place. And then at the bottom of the legs, when you've got the legs out in the awning, there should be two little holes in the bottom of they've got feet, and then you can pop a little tent peg into the floor, and then leave it up. Obviously when it starts to get windy, you do need to bring those in, because, you know, we've had a few that sort of tear and break off and things like that. So if it does start to get windy, in all honesty, you're better off just bringing it in so you don't break it. But, you know, other than that, it's pretty straightforward. But if you do get any questions with that, then obviously let us know and we'll answer anything we can. But, you know, I can't really show you the awning, you know, coming in and out on the video, but there you go. Nice and easy to use anyway. And to lock the bed up, you just pop these up like that, just so that it doesn't move when you're driving. It's the last thing you want is something to fall on your head when you're driving. So actually I will move those bits out of the way because it's not nice to have them drop on your head. So okay, so you've got a couple of switches round and about for various different things. You got this switch here which does your awning light here. So at night, if you had your awning out, a couple of chairs outside for example, awning light on here, and then you'll be able to see where you're, you know, where you're looking outside, which is always nice to have. So first of all, if you come into the van and you want to use it, you want to use your hot water, all these kinds of bits and pieces, you can pop this up out of the way as well, just before I forget as well. So all you really need to remember to start with is to come into the van and come over to this little control panel over here. This little button on the left hand side, you've got engine battery and auxiliary battery. So nearly all the time you're going to want this down at auxiliary battery. Okay, so that means your leisure battery. And all the time that this green light is on, that means that you've got enough charge in your leisure battery, and that the control panel is happy with the amount of power going into it. You can turn all of these on because the first one's just for your pump and the rest of them is essentially just for lights and igniting, which is the only igniter on the entire van. The only electronic igniter is the Carver water heater. But essentially just come in and turn all of these on. Your pump is submersible, which means it'll only run if you pull the tap. And so, you know, it won't be calling for any pressure or anything like that. It'll only ever turn on if you've got a tap open. All right, so it won't run on or anything like that. Although this little light here will come on yellow when your pump is running. So first thing you want to do, come in here, turn that down to aux and pop all these on, and then come to your tap and just pull the water through. All right, I've got the heat on at the moment, the hot water, but just pull it through. Make sure you don't get any air like this, little bits like that. Just wait for that to sort of even out, like that, and then pop it down, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Just make sure there's no air in the system. So there's a little bit of air there because I've got the heater on, but you know, if you had loads of air in there before you tried to turn the hot water on, then you're going to run into some problems where it's kind of, you know, overheating and things like that. So make sure you do that first. And once you've done that, you can leave that all as it is, because like I said, the pump will only work when you actually pull the tap. And that's it. It's as simple as that. For when you first come into the van, you know, it's just a case of making sure you do those little bits first as a little kind of safety precaution. Next, you've got a 3-burner hob, and your grill button is here as well. So this is the one for your grill. So this one is your top left, this one is your bottom left, and this one is your bottom right. You will need a clicker with these, like a little lighter or something like that, because there's no igniter on them. There's only this little thermocouple, which tells the sort of the system that whichever one you've got lit is lit, and if the flame got blown out, then this thermocouple here would stop any of the gas coming through, so it won't be able to fill the van up with unburned gas. And like I said, the grill is on the top there as well. The oven is separate, but you do also need a clicker on that because you've only got the thermocouple, which is the bit on the right. Okay, so you need a clicker for all of your hobs and your grill and your oven. But that's pretty straightforward, you know, just like a household one. The fridge is 3-way, so you've got 12 volt, 240 volt, and gas. This one you can just leave how it is. You can leave it up on 7. Doesn't really make any difference. So the red one here will only work when your engine's running. Okay, so that won't get the fridge cold on its own. You need to get the fridge cold first, either via the gas or the 240 when you've got your hookup plugged in. But if you leave that how it is, when you start your engine up, this will start automatically cooling down via the engine, via the battery. So if you want to, you can leave that how it is, because it won't do anything until you start the engine up. But you know, if you want to, you can leave it there. If you plug your hookup cable into the van, you can use this one, and that's just as good as the gas, really. Well, the gas is a little bit better, but if you want to leave it on this overnight before you go away, then you can do that there, as long as you got your hookup plugged in. And if you want to light the fridge up on gas, which I've got lit at the moment, so it's probably a bit awkward to see, but there should be just a little blue flame in there, if you can see it. That's it. So all you need to do, just like a hob, is turn the knob here so that it's facing this little white triangle to any of these gas points. Okay, so if I want to turn it off, I'll do so just like that. All right, so there's no flame in there anymore. That is no longer lit. And if I want to light it up, I need to push in and push there. All right, so I'm pretty sure that's lit by now. But basically that's all you need to do. All right, it's just a case of turning it to the gas point, pushing it in, and then clicking this igniter like that. And just keep your eye in there, see if you can see the flame. If you can't see the flame but you do think it's lit, then go round, and like I said, you can put your hand on the back of the vent there and you'll be able to feel hot air coming out. But it's a bit awkward to actually light it up with one hand, so if you just push in and round and then use your igniter there, your piezo ignition, then you shouldn't have any problems at all. You've got a little freezer part in here, but the rest of it's just a normal fridge. All right, so like I said, it's all being checked on the hab check anyway, and you've got a little bit to lock in there and unlock. Just push the little green button. All right, under the oven you've got an important little bit here, which is your gas isolator taps. So your cooker, this will be for your water heater, and then your fridge. So they're all you know, you guys, gas isolation taps. If you wanted to turn them off individually, you can do that. So you can do that there. paperwork and bits and pieces in that locker. If I just show you up here now, if I had a hookup cable plugged in at the moment, I could use your water heater on mains. So if I flick that button down, this little light would light up, and then your 240 volt water heater would be working. I have checked this on the hab check, so sometimes these little bulbs don't work. So if it doesn't, don't worry about it. It does work because I have checked it on the hab check and also written down how many amps it pulls. And next door to that, we've got your water heater on gas. So these are both for your water heater, electric and gas. If I want to turn it off, just click that button there. If I want to turn it on, do that. All right, and as long as that light up there stays on and it stays green and neither of these two lights come on, then it's lit up and it's doing what it should. And again, if you want to double check that, you can go outside, pop your hand over the top and feel the hot air coming out. All right, so I had that lit for about 10 minutes before, and if I just check, these Carver heaters are really, really good. They make water hot really, really quite quickly. So there you go. Yep, that's warm already. About 10 minutes I had that on, and you got warm water. All right. So, you know, nice and quick, but also quite reliable as well, and easy to service if you ever needed them serviced. Next up, you've got your heating for the actual van itself. So you've got a Carver 4000. Now it might look a bit old school, but it actually works really, really well, and I didn't have any issue with it whatsoever. I've taken the front off and cleaned out all the hair and the, you know, all the old dirt behind it. So you don't need to do that. Sometimes they can get a bit smelly if you don't do that. All you need to do is exactly the same as the fridge on gas, okay? So you've got this little like lightning bolt symbol here, or electric symbol here. All you want to do is the reason it's got that is because some of these have got an electric ignition, but this is piezo. So again, that same kind of thing to light it up. So if you turn it to here, and then if I just try and do it, I can't push it down with one hand. Basically, what you need to do is push down when it's here, like that, all the way, and use your igniter at the same time. And you want to look for a little flame in there. I'll tell you what, I'll pop you down and I'll do that so I can show you. Okay, so I've lit it up and I'm holding it in like that. So you can see the flame down there. That's a pilot flame, okay? Now if I let up and round, now you've got the full flame. So you've got flame on the left and the right hand side. And that's all you need to do. Make sure that you're happy with where it is. You can have it right down low, or you can have it in the middle. I would just leave it in the middle like that, and that's it. As long as you see this flame and you can hear it, and you're happy that it's lit up, then that's it. There's no, nothing more technical than that. There's no fan or anything like that. It's literally just it will just literally do its thing here and heat the van up quite quickly like that. I can already feel the heat coming out already at the front there, so they do warm up pretty quickly. But yeah, that's it. As long as you've got this round and you can see it lit, and if you want to turn it off, all the way around back there. All right, so to get it to turn to that point, you do need to push it down a little bit and round, but you'll get the hang of that straight away. It's not, it's not difficult at all. All right, so that's your heating. There's your water heater, and to turn that off, like I said, I've already done it, but literally push the little off button. Off, on, simple as that. 240 volt for your water heater. The fridge is off now, although I did have it on for about half an hour, so that's already started to get a bit cold. But they do take a lot longer than that, by the way. Just there's no two ways about it. These fridges do take quite a long time to get cold, especially if you have things in it. So if you're going to go on holiday and you've got the fridge full of stuff, drinks, whatever, you need to leave it overnight, really, before you go away, cooling down. So the best way to, I think anyway, the night before you go away, get out to your van, plug it in on a hookup, or use it on the gas, whichever. Pop it on the night before, just leave it. All right, so it's all been checked on the hab check. It's all good. There's nothing's going to go wrong with it. Just leave it how it is. Have it on the mains or the gas, and then the next morning, as long as you flick this little red button down before you start driving, when you get to where you're going, everything will be nice and cold inside. All right, there's nothing worse than getting to where you're going and, you know, everything being warm. So that's it. That's all you need to do. So if I think that's about all I need to show you now. You know, I think I've covered everything I can, but if there is anything else that you think I need to show you, or you're not happy that I've gone through thoroughly enough or anything like that, then just let us know. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.